Good day, everyone, and welcome to today's episode. My name is Gcinokuhle and I'm here with.
Sanelisiwe.
So, in today's episode, we explore dirty pretty things through the lens of globalization, migration, and bodily politics, using Emily David's article, "The Intimacies of Globalization, Bodies and Borders on Screen," as our critical framework. We will unpack how the feeling dramatizes the invisible labor and bodily exploitations that underpin global economies and how intimacy becomes a language of resistance.
Contextualizing the film, Dirty Pretty Things is a British social thriller directed by Stephen Frears, and it was released in 2002. The screenplay was written by Stephen Knight, who later gained acclaim for creating Peaky Blinders. The film stars Chiwetel Ejiofor as Okwe, a Nigerian doctor working illegally in London, and Audrey Tautou as Sine, a Turkish Islam seeker employed as a hotel maid. Supporting the roles include Sophie Okonedo as Juliette and Sergi Lopez as the minister hotel manager Sneaky. The narrative follows Okwe and Sine as they navigate the precarious world of undocumented immigrant in London. Okwe, once a respected doctor, now drives a cab by night and works as a hotel receptionist by day. When he discovered a human heart clogging a hotel toilet, he uncovers a black market organ trafficking ring operating with the hotel, a scheme that preys on desperate immigrants willing to sell their organs for forged documents. The film powerfully connects to the themes of migrant, globalization, and exploitation. It portrays how undocumented workers are essential to functioning of the global city, yet remain invisible and vulnerable. The commodification of the body, particularly through organ trafficking, becomes a stark metaphor for how globalization reduced human beings to economic units. The characters' lack of legal status exposes them to systemic abuse, reflecting the darker undercurrents of global labor flows and border politics.
Okay, now let us look at the hotel as a liminal space. Okay, the hotel setting is crucial. It's a transient space where borders blur between legality and illegality, visibility and invisibility, safety and danger. Bodies pass through the hotel unnoticed, yet it's here that the most intimate and violent acts occur. The hotel becomes a metaphor for the global city, a place built on invisible labor where bodies are both essential and disposable. So let us look at surveillance and control, whereby Sene's body is constantly policed by immigration officers, employers, and men who exploit her vulnerability. Her forced silence and submission reflect how borders are enforced not just through geography but through control of the body. So David's framework helps us see how the film critiques the surveillance, which is the body becomes a battleground for autonomy.
Now let us discuss the significance of the title. The title, Dirty Pretty Things, encapsulates the film's central tension between surface beauty and hidden exploitation. It invites viewers to look beyond the polished exterior of modern urban life and confront the grim realities that sustain it, particularly the invisible labor and bodily sacrifice of undocumented migrants. Pretty means surface beauty and illusion. The pretty refers to the outward appearance of London as a global city. Luxurious hotel, clean street, and cosmopolitan charm. It also reflects the character's dreams, Sine's hope for Aslam, Okwe's desire to reclaim his professional identity, and the seductive promise of a better life. The hotel, with its elegant facade, symbolizes this illusion. It's a space that appears orderly and respectable, but hides a brutal organ trafficking operation.
Okay, to add on what Zama had said, there's a contrast between beauty versus corruption, visibility versus invisibility. Therefore, the juxtaposition of dirty and pretty mirrors the film's exploration of visibility and invisibility, whereby migrants are essential yet unseen. Their labor is everywhere, but their bodies are policed, commodified, and erased. The title also reflects moral ambiguity, whereby characters like Ogo and Sine are forced into ethical complex decision, which is selling organs, lying to authorities not out of corruption but out of necessity.
Now let us discuss the selling of the organs, the body as currency. Ogwe's moral dilemma. Ogwe, a trained doctor, discovered that the hotel he works at is a hub for illegal organ trafficking. Immigrants are offered forged documents in exchange for selling a kidney. He is horrified not just by the act, but by the systematic exploitation it represents. These people are desperate, undocumented, and invisible to the state. Ogwe himself is offered the chance to sell his kidney to escape his precarious life, but he refuses. His body, his skills, and his ethics are all he has left, and selling his organ will mean surrendering his dignity. Sine's desperation and urgency. Sine, unlike Ogwe, agrees to sell her kidney. She's concerned she's been sexually exploited, threatened with deportation, and denied any legal path forward. Her decision is not a moral failure, it's a survival strategy. She's reclaiming agency in a system that has stripped her of control. The film doesn't judge her. Instead, it shows how global capitalism forces people to make impossible choices, where the body becomes the last asset they can trade.
So, Emily Davids writes that bodily intimacy serves as a metaphorical language through which to represent contestations of national and ideological borders. This means that the way bodies are treated in the film shows how borders are enforced. Not just through laws, but through control of people's physical lives. And then let us move to commodification of labor and organs. The film shows how globalization turns bodies into products. The organ trafficking ring in the hotel is the clearest example. Immigrants are offered fake passports in exchange for selling a kidney. This is a literal way of showing how undocumented people are forced to trade their bodies for survival. So Davies helps us understand this by saying that globalization impacts the bodies of the men and women whose invisible labor is the lifeblood of the global economy. The film shows this clearly. Immigrant clean rooms, drive taxis, and even sell organs, all while remaining invisible to society.
Now let us move to power dynamics in intimate and exploitative relationships. The film explores both caring and abusive relationships, showing how power works through intimacy. Sine is sexually exploited by her boss, who uses her undocumented status to control her. Ogwe and Sine share a close non-sexual intimacy. They protect each other, share space, and build trust. Even though they never become romantic, their relationship is a form of resistance. In a world where bodies are exploited, they care for each other. Davis's idea of bodily intimacy help us see how this relationship challenges the system. It's not just about love, it's about survival, dignity, and mutual respect.
Okay, so now let us look at the ambivalent representation, critique, and complexity. The film does not just criticize the system, it shows how people are forced to participate in it. Ogwa performs surgery to remove a kidney. It is something he finds morally wrong, but he does it to help Sine escape. Sine sells her kidney to buy freedom. It's a painful choice, but it shows how people are trapped by a global system. This is what Davis calls ambivalent representation, which is the films that shows both the horror and of exploitation and the human strength to survive it. It does not offer easy answers, but it makes us think deeply.
In conclusion, Dirty Pretty Things exposes the intimate relationship between globalization, borders, and the body. Through its portrays of invisible labor, bodily commodification, and moral resistance, the film reveals how global capitalism strives on the exploitation of vulnerable migrants. Emily Davis' framework helps us interpret these representations critically. Her arguments that bodily intimacy becomes a metaphor for global inequalities allows us to see how the films turn the personal into the political, the private suffering of migrants into commentary on the world economy. Ultimately, Dirty Pretty Things ask its reviewers to look beyond the pretty surface of global prosperity and confront the dirty truths beneath it. It reminds us that the lifeblood of globalization flows through the bodies of those society chooses
Not
not
to
to see.
Thank
So
you.
thank you for your time. Bye.
I hope you understand. Bye.